and good morning wherever you are tuned to Endo Media this beautiful morning. It's on Sunday. It's 11:35. It's not very usual that I do a podcast or I do something on a Sunday, but due to changing times and other things, I'd like to be doing this actually. There are so many other topics to be discussed during this Sunday morning. It is, people are supposed to be in church for those who go to church on Sunday. Yeah. But for those of us who don't go to church on Sunday, at least we have something to speak. We cannot just stay in the house and have nothing to speak about. Come on. Yeah. I'm checking on my... Good. I wanted to check whether, you see, I am also the producer of this program, and I am the very person who is doing it. So you understand there are a lot of things that when you are alone you can do. On a Sunday morning like this, I'd like to discuss quite a number of issues pertaining to how we are living, how life is going on. There are so many things we discuss as a community, more so in Kenya, in Kenyan setup. There are so many things we can discuss, and we are not actually restrained, or we are not tied to one point. We have to speak. There are a lot of stuff that we have to speak, and right about this time I am just sharing the link over here, and then shortly we will get into the business of the day, because I don't want to waste too much time. I'm sharing some link here with a few friends here and there, and making sure that we get back to the business of the day, because I know you don't have time, and I don't want to. Now, today there is a very burning issue that is around, and this one has been experienced all over the place. I can say so. As I've written there, you can see that the topic of the day is whether young people, whether the church has lost the influence on young people. That is the question. Whether the church has lost influence on the young people. What I'm saying is based on my experience. I'm going to look at you. I know you'll be worried, why am I not facing the camera? I will. But I'm trying to put a very good topic over here, so that when I start discussing this with you, we are together, and we will be discussing this from all our angles. You know, I don't want to be biased on with anybody. I don't want to look like if I have been sent to. But what I'm saying is just based on my observation. What I'm just going to say is based on my observation, and this one has got nobody's influence on me or anybody else. I'm just doing this on a Sunday morning like this, so that it's just a question. It's just a question, a normal question, like any other, whether the church has lost its what we call influence on young people. So yes, good. Now I want us to get into the nitty-gritty of this topic of today. Yes, there have been so many questions all over the place, whether young people indeed are that spiritual, whether young people indeed, because when you look around from the burning of schools, you saw here in Kenya a few weeks ago, there were cases where we lost 16 souls to fire inferno in Utumishi Girls High School, in a community. You wouldn't expect this to come from a girls' school previously, but as times change, you realize that there are things that you never expected to happen, but this time round they're happening, and they're happening in territories that you never imagined that these ones will happen. And this one begs the question whether indeed we have the young people in our palm. Can we control these young people? Is it likely? Are we losing control? Is it the church? Is it the family setting? Who is it to blame? Before we start blaming anybody, anyway, I don't want to say we are blaming people, but before we say we are blaming anybody, it's just a question. Are we that good with our families, with our girls, with our boys? You see, that is the question I'm asking this morning. Have we lost it? Now, I've prepared a few notes concerning whether we've lost young people. Is it true? According to me, I want to feel yes, the church has lost young people in terms of being spiritual. Young people being spiritual. In many places, you would understand, or you will come to find that the influence with social media and digital culture. Right now, if you go to Facebook, you go to TikTok, you go to all these social media platforms, apps, all the same. It is the young people who are the majority there. They are the majority. Saying they are the majority means they take most of their times on those social media platforms. Meaning, instead of that time being used wisely, like doing some work, like doing some homework, like a good example, there's a young lady whose mother died recently, and that her mother was a singer. I don't want to mention the name because you already know her. She's relatively young, but she's so much into social media, and there have been cases of her having two fathers. When the mother died, she had left the first marriage, and then she's now in the second. She was in the second marriage by the time she passed on. And this young lady is so much into social media at that young age, and there have been people all over the place just calling for this young girl to be tamed and be banned from social media, because we believe before 16, before 18, before the consent age, that's what it's called, because before 18, we believe that this young girl has not come of age to make serious decisions about what she wants to do with her life. Okay? So, sometimes when we say this, she is not in a position, because if you look at her age and the age of the girls who banned the school, they're almost the same age, meaning they cannot make informed decisions. That's one thing. Two, these people, are they ungovernable? Because recently when teachers were, in fact not even recently, it's just like yesterday, there was a meeting in Mombasa. The meeting was for heads of secondary school teachers, I think principals, and the major topic that arose or people spoke about, it was about how schools are going to be governed, the leadership in schools, and how these kids, these young people, are going to be talked to so that we do not go through what we are going through right now. Because as you realize, schools are being banned left, right, and center. One school starts the thing, the next one does the same, and the trick follows all the way. And remember, at the end of the day, it is the parent who's going to do what? To pay for that. Is the parent who's going to do what? To take care of the kid, or all the cost. It is the burden of the parent. That's one thing. I'm talking of those in schools, teenagers. Okay? Come to think of it, when you go to these social medias, more so TikTok in this country, this one is ungovernable for sure. It is very ungovernable. You go there, the kind of topics they discuss, the kind of language that is used there during this time, you feel like indeed we have lost the fabric. The moral fabric of these young people is just so lost. So it begs the question, we keep on asking ourselves whether indeed we are in control, whether parents are in control, whether guardians are in control. And to me, we have lost it. We don't know how we are going to manage these kids with the coming of mobile telephones. They're given more, gadgets as early as 9, as 5. Young kids fighting for these gadgets all over the place. And you don't know how to handle this. It becomes a very serious issue. It becomes a very serious issue which we don't know how we are going to control. That's one thing. Social media and digital culture. Young people are now spending more time on platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, X, where they encounter a wide range of ideas, lifestyle, and beliefs that compete with the traditional religious teachings. My question is, can't the church come up with a creative way to make sure that they contain these kids? Can't the church come up with something similar? Like, we cannot be teaching in churches because the schools are improving in a different way. Nowadays, we've got technology. I mean, like, we've got iPads. The kind of teaching we or even older people than us who are going through during those days is totally different from what is going on right now. Okay? There is advancement in terms of technology, in terms of ideas, in terms of everything. Now, if the other world has changed, why can't we also look for creative ways to bring these people to church? Because we are losing many souls, we are losing many kids to the outside world. Yeah, of course I can say we do have YouTube and churches streaming, but the kind of content that is being taught in church, of course we cannot alter the Bible. We cannot alter the Bible and say, now because we want to go and talk to these kids in another way, so we change our ways of doing things. No, we will not change the message, but looking for a creative way to pass the same message to the young people. Because sometimes you go to church and you are seated there, and the kind of information and the kind of delivery that is being given out there, the way the message is being delivered, sometimes you feel like, okay, maybe we are so lost. Maybe this is not the right way the young people are supposed to be talked to. Okay, that's one way. Social media and digital culture has gotten into our kids, the young generation. Okay, another point, distrust of institutions. Many young people are skeptical of institutions, including churches, especially when leaders are associated with scandals, financial misconduct, or political partisanship. Good. Now, this is a topic I also want us to talk about, because we are a community that is so divided, either in the middle or 3 times all over the place. Your church elder is associated with a given party, and you would believe that even the visitors who will be welcomed to church are visitors from the party that he supports, or from the wing that he feels talks good of the country. You know, in Kenya, we have got the government and the opposition. So if your leader, your church elder, is that biased, he can bring leaders from the side that you feel is not the side you support as a young person. Because this point means that is corruption of the mind and corrupting the people in the church if they don't believe in the beliefs you as the church elder is believing. Scandals, stealing of church money, scandals like sexual immorality in church. Those are some of the things. Perhaps these young people, when they look at us and they say, no, we cannot do this, and perhaps we are not. This is not the type of life that we want to live in. This is not the type of let's say, kind of life we want to lead. And then again, these are the people who are supposed to bring us closer to God. If they are the same people who are doing crazy things all over the place, and then young people, of course, would not come to church. That's some of the things. You could be having your own opinion. In the comment section, you can write your opinion, perhaps why you think is the church losing the influence to young people. Because for sure, they do not have them in their grip. That's 2. Number 3, issues changing values, okay? Issues such as gender equality, sexuality, mental health, and personal freedom have become central to many young people. When churches are perceived as unwilling to discuss these topics openly, some young people feel disconnected. According to this point, it's like the church is so static, just the same way I told you about looking for creative ways to pass the message to the young people because of the changing time, because changing technology, changing of delivery of the information. Perhaps the church is stuck in the 1990s. the church is stuck in the 1990s. Instead of changing the way they are delivering the information, instead of changing the way they are giving the information to young people, or there are some topics that perhaps the church does not want to discuss. And if the church does not want to discuss such topics, that means they are going to lose these people. Okay, I want to share something here. The church is losing the people. Yes, that is it. I want to a bit of distraction, a little. Yes. So there are topics that the church does not want to discuss, and the young people feel like they are left out. I have been in a church where I felt I am so left out, because this church keeps on doing fundraising every time. And imagine you're in a church for the last 3 weeks, let's say a Sunday or a Saturday, for those who happen to go to church on Saturday, they've been fundraising all through. What do? And you do not have the money to do the fundraising. It becomes an issue, and perhaps that is one of the reasons as to why young people felt like, okay, they couldn't go to church, or they couldn't be that spiritual. But who is supposed to look for who? Is it the young people to look for the church, or is the church? And the church, I mean the elders and those responsible for all this. Are they the ones to look for the young people, look for creative ways? That's a point to be discussed. That's a point of questioning ourselves. Okay, another point is economic pressure. Economic pressure, okay, it's also an issue that should be looked at, because high unemployment, the rising cost of living, and financial insecurity can shift attention towards immediate survival rather than regular participation in church activities. Yes, perhaps like now you want to go to, you either want to go to, you can prioritize going to job other than going to church. Why? Because of financial, like we said, economic pressure. The church, the work that you do involves you going to church during the weekends. I mean, going to work during the weekends. You do not have an opportunity to go to church. Then expectations, family expectations, your personal expectations, and perhaps you're going to school and there's no school fees, and you are the one paying your own school fees. So these are the things I'm saying that sometimes could mean or could make young people not to go to church, not to feel like there's need to be part of the church activities. Remember the days we were growing up, we used to sing in the church. There are those levels that you grow: kindergarten, I don't know, early teens, pathfinder, youth, then you come to the choir. Perhaps you grow procedurally upwards. But young people, if they don't go to church, and perhaps the parents are not so into the church because of the economic activities, they go to work, they make sure they have something for the family, and if they are not going to church, then kids cannot accompany them to work. Kids cannot accompany them to church if they are not going there. That's another point, could be the reason as to why. And then we have different ways of expressing faith. Some young people still believe God but choose to practice their faith outside traditional church settings through online ministries, home fellowships, podcast, or personal devotion. Okay, different ways of expressing faith. Yes, they know God exists and they know God is the provider. Yes, they know that all these are very important, but they rather do it online, they rather do it at their workplace, they rather do it but again, the question is, if there are all these spiritual, why are we not seeing the spirituality in the streets, not burning of schools, in the way they behave, not protesting? And perhaps protesting is good because they feel they have not been heard and the country is not going towards the right way. And perhaps they feel like this is the way to protest. Or maybe it is the parents, it is the guardians, it is the society that is not catching up with the young people. That could be another thing. They are spiritual. If they are spiritual, yes. And if they would want to do their spirituality in terms of doing it at work, while they are at work, or doing it online, then we would have seen the kind of behaviors they're expressing out here. Then we could have seen the influence, because if you are doing your church services at work or online, there should not be a difference in terms of behavior whether you are going to a real church or doing it online, because the discipline, the characters that are taught in spirituality are the same, whether you do it online, whether you do it at school, whether you do it at your workplace. You would be behaving in a certain way that shows, yes, indeed, these people are spiritual, these people know God, and they are behaving this way. But if indeed this point is everything that they are saying, then I don't agree. I don't agree for sure that that could be the thing. Yeah. Why the church still matters? The church matters. Providing moral and spiritual guidance, that's one, which is very good, I believe so. Supporting education and healthcare. Yeah, like the Catholic Church have got systems where they have got churches, they have got hospitals. Like when missionaries, even the SDA Church, also have hospitals and churches. And I believe this one came from the missionaries during those days when they came into Kenya. They built churches, they also built schools, they built hospitals, and this was one way of bringing people together, because when you are sick you will go to the hospital, and when you are going to the hospital you will be given very good services, and that one will alter your thinking and saying, okay, instead of taking the local medicine or local concoctions, you decide this is high time you went to church. You went to the hospital. By going to the hospital, perhaps you will find these preachers there, or perhaps they are the ones treating you, and then in the process of you getting healed or getting treated, they have an opportunity to speak to you and tell you about how Jesus is good, how God is good, how you're supposed to behave. And then again, when you go to school, there's religious studies like CRE during our days, or Islamic teachings or Hindu teachings. They are part of the syllabus, and then you'll be able to, like it used to happen. Still very important, offering humanitarian aid to vulnerable families. Yes, the church does, but nowadays things have changed a little, because I have looked around and seen how some other churches behave, how pastors have acquired a lot of properties to themselves, and the kind of behaviors that come from those pastors, I think, is one thing that is deterring the young community, the young people, not to go to churches, because it's a lot of wealth with the teaching of prosperity. By the end of the day, there are no positive results that are coming from there. Perhaps that could be one of the things. But some churches offer what we call humanitarian aid, perhaps to widows, orphans, and street families. Some churches have done that, and there's one great example that pulls people together. Creating opportunities for youth leadership and community service. Yeah, that one does. There are people who've grown through the church rankings or ranks, and they've become good leaders in the society. That is a very good thing. Giving people a sense of belonging or purpose. Letting people know that this is where they belong and what is their purpose in this world. What are they here to do? Okay? That is it. We keep asking ourselves questions about whether the church has lost. Yes, it has lost the grip, the hold of young people, and some of the things that they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to entice these people, because we lose these people. Right now, let me tell you, even the government of the day is not at peace, since it does not have the people at hand, the young people. And if they do not have the young people at hand, it is a bigger problem. Lack of employment opportunities, that is one thing. High cost of living, high cost of starting business. Cost of production is very high. Like you start a business today, and by the time is 1 month or 2 months, okay, look here, high interest loans, that's one thing. Electricity bills going high, several permits that you're supposed to get in terms of you starting business from local authorities. Okay, not very conducive environment for a young man to start business and to continue with the business for a year or two. Or perhaps there's no mentorship in terms of doing that, or there are no incentives from the government to do the same. So there are so many ideas here. There are so many things that the government is supposed to do to entice young people, to bring them together. Because if the government has been defeated, the church has been defeated, then who will control the young people? Okay? How are we going to get young people back? How are we going to have them? How are we going to grasp these young people? It's difficult. I don't know how. But if the government has been defeated, then it's going to be a very serious business in terms of bringing people together. I don't know about your opinion about the same, whether yes, indeed, the church has lost influence in young people, and how are they supposed to get back and get them back into the line? I think for now, those are some of the things we've discussed about right about this time, and we'll keep on discussing about this. If you feel you have a point, or if you feel that the church still has a grip of young people at hand, then you can still communicate with me through the messages down below, and I'll get to know. So thank you very much for giving me your time as we have discussed this topic. Please share this video to your friends, and you can comment down below. Thank you for today on Sunday morning. My name is John Ted.